Hello Tigers, I'm Steve Drummond, Superintendent at Commerce ISD. We're here in our professional development room over at CAB, and it's been recently redone. We had some new paint put on the walls and some new carpet, so we have a lot of our meetings in this room. We just had our SAM meeting, our monthly SAM meeting, which is our state accountability meeting, and the ladies that I'm going to be talking today, they are the major players in those meetings. This is our iCAT team, instruction, curriculum, assessment, and technology. And we've already kind of visited with our tech team in a previous edition. So these ladies today are primarily going to be talking about instruction, curriculum, assessment. But before we do that, I want to give them a chance to introduce themselves to everybody. And the first question I always ask in all these segments is just give us a little brief history about their educational careers and what led them to be in the positions they are in Commerce, and go ahead and give the positions that you're in Commerce as well.
Hi, I'm Patty Trimmel. I'm actually a graduate of Commerce High School in class of '92, very proud of that. I started my teaching career here, actually in this building with 5th grade, and then I transitioned to a different district where I did campus leadership of assistant principal and principal. And then about 10 years ago, I was able to have the opportunity to come back to my hometown, and currently I'm the assistant superintendent.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Putman. I'm the district coordinator of school improvement. I started at CES as a paraprofessional in pre-K. Went back to school as an alt cert, got my teaching certificate and taught 4th grade. I ended up getting my principal or administrative certification, was the assistant principal and principal at AC Williams, and then this year I transitioned into the DCSI position for the district.
Hi, I'm Jamie Oglesby. I'm the elementary curriculum coordinator. This is my first year to be doing that. In the past, I have taught 1st grade for 19 years and 4th grade and 2nd and 3rd grade. And the last 3 years, I've been the dyslexia teacher at CES. So this is my first year as a curriculum coordinator.
My name is Sheila DeMidio. I'm the curriculum coordinator at the 3 through 5 campus. And about 15 years ago, I came to Commerce ISD as a substitute. Then I was a teacher's aide, got my degree, became a teacher, and then about 5 years ago, came up to the admin team as the curriculum coordinator at AC Williams.
I think it's interesting that 2 of you talked about starting out as an aide and working your way up to teacher. Now you're in a leadership position. And one of the things that we're always encouraging our aides in the district to do is to try to grow. So 2 great examples for people that took their careers to the next level, furthering their education and moving forward. I want to, if you would, pass the microphone to Ms. Putman, and I want you to explain just a little bit, talk a little bit about your role as DCSI. We've made no secrets that we want to get better on our state academic accountability, and Ms. Putman has a big part of that role. So if you would talk briefly about that, Ms. Putman.
Okay, so as the DCSI for the district, I specifically worked with AC Williams and Commerce Elementary to develop a plan that we turn into the state, showing what we are doing to improve with our academics for our students. We have implemented Bluebonnet curriculum in math and reading, and so we work with our Region 10 consultants. They come out and we do lots of teaching of teachers. We go in and monitor and observe and give them feedback. And so I help there primarily, but I've also been at the middle school and high school, just helping the teachers any way that I can to improve curriculum and instruction, and even, you know, the students, because I know them from coming up from AC Williams, having those conversations with them about the importance of their education and just doing better.
Okay. Dr. Trimmel, a question for you. Talk briefly about your role as heading up our instructional materials and specifically the implementation of Bluebonnet. A lot of people don't understand how the curriculum gets into the classroom. If you would kind of talk about that and your role in that.
Yeah, sure. This was actually a joint collaboration decision. We knew that the state was moving to what we call a state curriculum, which is Bluebonnet. I've actually been looking at this curriculum for a couple of years. It was actually under a different name, and we piloted at the elementary school. And but this year, districts across the state of Texas have now implemented Bluebonnet, and so we are in the midst of it. Our teachers are doing a fantastic job embracing the new state curriculum. We've been told this is not going away anytime soon. Actually, the state is improving on this curriculum, and we're excited. We've seen already some growth measures. We've seen, I keep using the word improvement, but that's what that is one of our main goals, is just to improve in the different areas and the different TEKs. And actually, we were looking at it this morning in our SAM meeting and setting forth goals and where we're going to go when the new year, this next year or so.
Okay. And then Ms. Oglesby, talk a little bit about what you specifically do on campus as the elementary curriculum coordinator. Give some specifics about things you're doing at Commerce Elementary School.
At the elementary campus, we have PLCs, which are professional learning communities, every Tuesday and Thursday. All of our reading teachers come on Tuesdays, and we internalize the different lessons, which means the teachers look at the lesson before they come to the PLC, and they figure out how they're going to teach it and where they're going to hit the student discourse and the engagement and how they're going to make it more engaging for the students. And then on Thursdays, we have math PLCs.
Okay. When you talk about internalization, I hear that term a lot with the Bluebonnet, the curriculum being implemented. Explain, and I'll let Ms. Domidio in just a second also touch on that. Explain internalization. What are you talking about when you refer to that?
When a teacher is doing their internalization, they're actually looking at the lesson they're going to teach to their students, and they take ownership of it. They know exactly what their objectives are, they know what their focus is, and they know what the end result needs to be. So we teach them to start at the end, look at the exit ticket, look at the assessment, and figure out how you're going to best suit the students with that.
Ms. Domidio, talk a little bit about your role as a curriculum director at AC Williams and things that are happening on that campus.
At AC Williams, I also host or lead the PLC meetings twice a week. And so what we do is we let the teachers look at those lessons in advance and really look at where they're going. So part of it is how thoroughly are you going to teach that lesson to your students, and how are they going to be tested, or how are you going to assess their knowledge at the end? So there's a lot of collaborative conversations that go on, and where teachers are able to learn from each other, brainstorm, and look at common misconceptions. So we also talk a lot about assessment and what are those assessments going to look like, and then once we take the assessment, what does the assessment data tell us?
The next question, I'll just open it up to whoever would like to answer it. We've talked about in our SAM meetings growth being a key word. What are some things within Bluebonnet besides obviously the collaboration I'm hearing and the meetings between teachers, which is always great? What are some things specifically in Bluebonnet, in the curriculum, things that are going to help our kids grow, specifics about the curriculum?
So I'll share an example of what happened last week. Last week we did something called Learning Walks. And Learning Walks is where the district lead team goes to campus to look for fidelity of implementation. And so I was able to go into a first and a second grade classroom and watch a reading lesson. In this reading lesson, they were really talking about science. They were talking about light, and they were talking about how a butterfly is made and what an insect is. And it just really let me see that as they come to my campus in fifth grade, that science is something that the students are lacking. And so now now this Bluebonnet really brings in science and social studies into the reading at such a young age that they're building year by year. And so then this week we were able to come to AC Williams for the learning walks and really see how the curriculum really is building from year to year so that each student, they have the prior knowledge from the year before.
I agree with you, Sheila. It is the vertical alignment. And the biggest highlight that I've seen is the student engagement. And as well as during our learning walks, really watching the teachers internalize, embrace the lesson, and just have those meaningful discussions. And so that is one of my takeaways.
Lastly, we'll wrap it up. If anyone, I think maybe Ms. Putman, I'll ask you this question, okay? I want you to talk to the parents and our stakeholders in the district about what you see in our SAM meetings with our principals. Talk about the things that you see out of them, and talk to our parents a little bit about a timeline as far as improvement. You know, we're embracing a new curriculum. We're being more aggressive with our academic improvement. But talk to people a little bit about the growth and patience, and that a student can grow maybe and not even reach a new level of accountability, but they can grow within the level they're at. So talk a little bit about that if you would.
Okay, so the SAM meetings have been really good. I've been with the district, I don't know, 15 plus years, and it's really the first year that I feel like our campus administrators have been brought together. When I was on the campus, it kind of felt like we were on our own little island doing our own thing, and this has really brought us together, and seeing how the curriculum builds and how it spirals, it helps. The alignment piece is huge. I see that we have K-8 math, and so I can see all the way through the middle school, even with the math. But it's going to take, I do believe we will see growth this year just because of the way it's taught. It teaches on such a foundational level that the kids really get it. So it's not like they forget and then we move on to something else, because it continues to spiral and bring it back in. So I do think we will have improvements this year just with the growth piece. And even if a student doesn't grow, like let's say they got approaches grade level on their STAR last year and they get approaches again this year, that still counts for a year's worth of growth. But then we also will get points if they, stay at that level or move up. What we have to watch for are high performing students, because sometimes they may master the test, but then if they fall back to meets, even though that is grade level, falling back that level, then you lose some points. And so that is another plus to the Bluebonnet, is it has that extra piece for enrichment so that we can grow all of our students. It's not focused just on one level or the other. But to show I think it will take 2 to 3 years with all of the trainings in different districts we've met with. We went to Quinlan in our curriculum meeting with a group that we're a part of, and hearing they've had a very hard time transitioning from their math that they had used for many years and had been successful with, but they are seeing the benefits of this Bluebonnet because of that repetition. And they say by about the 3rd year is when the teachers really feel comfortable and confident that they don't have to go back and look in the book as much, because it is scripted. Now they can use it or not, but to feel real comfortable with it. So I'm hopeful that in 3 years we will have that accountability rating that we're all proud of.
I agree with you that it was validation, that it's not only our district, but our neighboring districts. We are at times, it's like with anything, that when you're trying something new, you're going to have some struggles, but you're going to see that growth. And I'm very excited about it. Our Tiger teachers, they're putting in a lot of work. The team up here, we're leading weekly. We are getting support from our region center. Like I said, we all feel that this has been a curriculum that will be beneficial to our Tiger students.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just wrap up by saying I want our community to know that we're working hard on getting better academically. that we're putting a lot of effort into your students. I would ask you as parents, anytime you get a chance to work with your kids at home on their homework, read to them as much as you can, get books in their hands, try to be our partners and try to help us in the education of your children. And appreciate everyone at the table. I see the work in the district. When I walk around the district, I see the work. We are going to improve. Help us at home when you can. Go Tigers.